Hello, readers.
Hi.
Demi is back, and so am
Again.
I. Again, yes. So today, I just wanted to have a chat about introductions and stuff. Should you read them? Should you not? Do you read them? I'm gonna start off with this thing. I asked Google, and Google pointed me towards this website. A preface or foreword deals with the genesis, purpose, limitations, and scope of the book. And this is already getting really boring.
I was gonna say.
Introduction usually supplements and introduces the text, forms a part of the text. The preface doesn't. The foreword is written by someone other than the author or editor. I don't know. That's like a little bit on it, but I got too bored to read it already.
That's a pretty good overview. Ish.
On thinking of it, at the moment I can't think of books other than classics that usually have introductions off the top of my head. Unless I guess the author died or something.
Yeah, there's some that are like, oh yeah, I worked with this person, blah blah blah, they're so amazing, this is a really good book, you should, I've read a couple of those that are at the beginning. I read them all. I read everything at the beginning.
You read everything at the beginning?
And at
like
the
all
end,
the introductions and stuff?
Yeah, I at least try. If it's something that's like, I would like to thank so-and-so and so-and-so for giving my pen and pencil, then...
That's usually the afterword,
I usually
isn't it?
skip that.
Or the dedication.
Dedication thing, maybe?
See, I usually read the dedication.
Oh, man.
Because, like, some authors will put kind of, like, a joke in the dedication. The afterwards I never read.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, the whole list of, I'm thanking this and this and I'm like, nope.
I guess I don't read those. But if it's at the beginning of the book, I do. I try to.
But introductions, besides being boring and not really relating to the book, I tried to read Shirley by Charlotte Bronte in December and got through, like, the first chapter, and that was kind of it, because the first chapter is very much, this is what's going on at the time of the book. Which I, like...
Background info?
And, like, economics and stuff, which I really just struggled with, but I still hear so much good about it, and I want to read it, so I decided, alright, this is an instance where I will go ahead and read the introduction and get an idea of what's going on, so maybe it'll be easier to continue with the book. And the introduction to Shirley gave away the entire plot, because I was just trying to understand how to read the book.
Yeah.
And so people have this...
That's interesting that...
People have this idea that if it's a classic, everyone's read it. But, like, babies are still being born as we speak.
Or they're like me and
so
they just...
obviously they haven't read it. Or you're like Demi and you just don't read classics.
Out. I just...
But, like, a 5-year-old right now will have never read Shirley. So you can't assume that everyone has read the classics. So
maybe
don't give away the entire plot.
True. But maybe they treat it like a movie trailer. Where they give you, like, the important parts and you're like, ooh, I gotta see this.
But the trailer still doesn't give away, like, the end of the book.
True. That is true.
Unless it's a really bad trailer. Have you seen a trailer that's given away the end of
I've seen a trailer that's put all of the good parts in there. And you're like, oh, this looks amazing. And then you see them and you're like, oh,
I hate trailers that do that. Those are the worst kinds of trailers and the worst kinds of introductions.
Agreed.
Or maybe they're actually, I guess, the good trailers because they're selling the movie. But still.
But it's too much. Selling it too much. And then you get let down because you're too hyped up for it.
Forwards, I guess, I feel like forwards are usually shorter than introductions. It's more like a quick introduction.
Yeah.
Same thing with a preface. Again, I don't really get the difference between
I don't either. I was going to say, it all runs together for me. It's like all the same thing for me.
Or it could also depend on who it's written by. This doesn't happen very often, but sometimes if the introduction or the preface is written by someone that I'm really interested in or someone that I really admire, then I'll go ahead and start to read it. But even then, I usually don't finish it because it's like, I just don't feel that this is important to the book.
Well, and I think that it's for someone like me that is a rule follower. And I feel like there's something important that I'm gonna miss no matter what. Like, even you tell me to skip ahead in House of Leaves, I'm like, no. What if there's something important in there that I need?
Skim this part. It's just not important.
It makes me anxious, though, because, like, it's like, what if there's something in there that I need to know that's important?
The FOMO of it.
Yes! That's exactly what it is.
Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
I can't believe I actually remembered what that stood for. Fear of missing out.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, if it's here, then I'm just I start at page 1 and I go.
I don't usually feel that way about introductions, but at the same time, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, it stresses me out. I'm like,
And I told her this earlier, but I've heard some people say that they will skip the prologue of the book because it gives spoilers. Now, this is where I'm like, no, read the prologue. The prologue is part of the story. It's part of the book, whereas the introduction and the preface and the foreword are separate from the story and the book, and oftentimes written by someone else. But the prologue is part of the story, and it's put at the beginning of the book for a reason, and you need to read it at the beginning of the story, because, again, it was put there for a reason. I have never read a prologue that has spoiled the book.
But just enhanced the experience. I've never read anything that have spoiled the book either.
Although, to be fair, I also don't really care that much about spoilers. Like, there are sometimes, like in reading Mistborn, especially reading the third book of Mistborn, it was really slowing down. So I talked to my friend and I'm like, can you give me some spoilers? And he knows me well enough that he knows just how much to give me to keep me interested without giving everything away. But most of the time, I'm like, I don't care.
See, and that's why I feel like I have a hard time, like, even at book club when I was like, yeah, it was about this girl that drove down this road. It was really good. Like, because I am, like, so terrified that I'm going to ruin it because I don't care about spoilers. And so, to me, I don't know what's important, what's not. And I'm like, oh, I will literally give all of the information away.
That is a really unpopular opinion because most people, especially, like, going through the Twitter feeds, are like, spoilers ahead, or don't spoil this, or don't spoil this for me. And I'm like, I don't care if I read a spoiler. Like,
I like even in TV shows and stuff. Like if I want to know, I'll Google it.
Chris,
and it drives people nuts. I'm like, I know who he kills.
I will piss Chris off so bad because he's like telling me about this movie that we're watching. And he's so excited for me to watch this movie, and I'm Googling it, and he's like, are you seriously looking up the plot to the entire movie? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, hey, I get it now. And he's like, oh my
God. You're still finding out, just finding out in a different order than you're supposed to.
So maybe the prologue thing really does have a point to it. Maybe some of you really do have a legitimate reason for not reading the prologue because you really do think it spoils it. But, like, I don't care about spoilers, and read the prologue. It was placed there by the person who wrote the book.
And I'm a rule. I follow the rules, so I have to read everything.
I am a rule follower.
Yeah.
I was always a goody two-shoes.
Yeah, I know, like, it just stresses me out. It's so bad. It's like, now that I'm going to be 30 next month, now I'm finally starting to be like, fuck it. Like, I don't care. But it took me, 30 years. For me, maybe I should skip one just to do it.
Just be crazy.
Just be wild.
Be crazy.
Like me being wild is sleeping on my couch instead of
things to do before you're 30. Skip the introduction to the book.
Skip the prologue.
Skip the prologue to a book before you're 30.
We're gonna live on the edge.
Oh man, I don't know. This is too close to the edge for me right now.
It's right up there.
I am only 26. I have 4 years to skip prologue, alright?
Yeah, you might want to ease into that one. It's right up there with sleeping on your couch instead of in your bed.
So you're going to do it. You're going to skip a prologue before you're 30.
I'm going to...
Assuming you read a book with a prologue before
you're
30.
That's true. Maybe you should recommend one.
I should.
Maybe that'll be for my blind date. I'll be like...
Epilogues. Do you read epilogues?
Yes.
I read I read epilogues, but I don't always think I should. You said you hadn't read the last book of Harry Potter yet?
I haven't, no.
So, if you read here's another thing to do before you're 30. If you read the last book of Harry Potter before you're 30, skip the epilogue.
But what if I want to know what's...
You don't want to know.
I don't.
You don't. The epilogue
bums me out.
The epilogue for book 7 of Harry Potter was the single most disappointing moment in all 7 books of the series.
Does it have anything to do, like, does it give you any precursor to, like, the Cursed Child or anything like that?
No, and a lot of people on BookTube don't count the Cursed Child as canon because apparently it sucked so bad. Unpopular opinion, I actually kind of enjoyed it.
I probably will enjoy it.
But the epilogue is 19 years later, And can I spoil you a little bit?
Go for it. I've seen all the movies.
So 19 years later, everyone is paired up and has children and is married.
Oh, yeah. Don't they have that at the end of the one movie? Where,
Yeah.
like, Ginny and Harry get together and they're, like, wishing their little child.
I'm of the mind, like, you don't have to marry off all your characters at the end of the book. You don't have to pair off all your characters at the end of the book. Having children doesn't necessarily make you happy and be fulfilling. Like,
also,
I hated the epilogue so much.
That is frustrating, and also because I wanted Harry and Luna to get together.
Right? Luna was such an underrated character.
Her.
She's like my favorite character.
Yes, I loved her so much.
She's the weird girl, and I was the weird girl, and I connect to that.
Yeah,
same. But I always read the epilogue, but in reading Harry Potter, that was when I started to learn, maybe I don't have to always read the epilogue.
Sometimes less is more.
Yes. Maybe that's why people don't read the prologues.
Maybe. We just had to...
We figured it out!
We did it. We've solved the mystery of everything. I kind of want to just read the prologue now, and then before I read the book, the last Harry Potter book, just to see.
Read the epilogue?
Yes.
The prologue. You said
yes,
the prologue.
Sorry. Yeah, read the epilogue before I read the book, just to see.
I mean, it's not. It'll spoil you for who survives.
I think I know though, because of the movies.
So you spoiled yourself already.
Don't Fred and is it Fred and George that kick the bucket?
One of them.
Just Fred.
Oh,
right?
By the way, spoilers for Harry Potter.
Oh, my bad.
It's fine. We didn't tell you which one. No, I guess that's usually I'm for reading books before watching the movies.
Yeah, I've been trying to do that.
But also, because so many people are sticklers about spoilers, would they want to both read the book and watch the movie? Because if they've read the book, they've spoiled themselves for the movie. Or maybe they just don't feel as strongly about movie spoilers as they feel about book spoilers.
That could be. And also I think that, at least for me, I like reading the book first because you get a lot more information that...
More detail.
Yeah. And sometimes there's actually important stuff that they leave out of the movie for time or whatever purposes, or it's hard to translate or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like you get a more comprehensive understanding of the movie.
Literary fiction. Like, I've watched some movies where I'm like, if this was a book, it would be literary fiction. Because it's, they have the way of filming now where you have a movie where the girl's just sitting at the end of her bed for 5 minutes. Just this face. And it's that would be a literary fiction if it was a book.
Yeah.
Because you just have these long moments of nothing happening where it's supposed to be saying something, and even though I don't usually like literary fiction, I feel like it would still make more sense than the movie does.
Yeah, that's true, because you kind of get
that would just translate better to the
background
book.
Background thoughts and all that fun stuff, yeah.
And the way language is twisted and stuff. I learned this when reading The Edible Woman for January. That was my Margaret Atwood book of the month. Where I didn't even notice it when I was reading it until someone pointed it out, but she changes the perspective on it. Because, the first part of the book, she's saying, I did this and I did that. Mm-hmm. And then at one point it switches to main character's name, did this and that. And it's, saying something about the character and her shift in thinking about herself and the things around her.
Oh, interesting.
And, how would you get that from a movie?
Yeah, that would be... Unless there was some kind of, background narrative. How they do, the voiceover. You're watching the lady, wash dishes, and she's like, yesterday was January 28th. And I was washing dishes. I don't know. This is why I don't read books. But you know how they have, the voiceover when they're doing, mundane shit, and they're, telling their background story?
I like voiceovers.
I do, too.
Have you watched Sex and the City?
A little bit.
Because, the first season, she does a voiceover for everything, and then the other seasons she doesn't. I liked the voiceovers. I like that kind of breaking the fourth wall thing.
Yeah, I've been watching My 600-Pound Life, binging it.
I haven't seen that in a while.
And they do the voiceover, and I just like hearing their thoughts and stuff, what they were thinking when all this was going on, and, I was just really lets you into their mind.
Yeah. So this has just been a random discussion video.
Very
for
random.
thanks for discussing random things with me. It was mainly just supposed to be introductions, but I like where it went.
Yeah, it was good.
It's good.
It's always good.
Yes. Okay. So, like, subscribe, be our friends on social media and stuff. Links will be down below. I post every Wednesday, Sunday. Demi will be back at some point, I'm sure.
I'll surprise you.
Yeah. You'll just start to pop up in one of my videos.
I'll just be like, wait.
Ah! It's Demi! Where did you get here? There is literally, the world does not exist past the line at the end of the camera.
Nope.
And whenever the camera turns off,
into the void.
Yeah, into the void.
Into the void.
We will see
What
you.
if that was like legit though?
What
If that was
that
legit?
would be creepy.
That's like a Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, no. So I guess we will see you all next time we come out of the void.
But for now, back into the void we go.
Back into the void we go. Bye, guys.